She stood there, overwhelmed as a flood of emotions rushed through her. Tracking this cat and unraveling the mystery behind its unusual behavior had been no small feat. Now that she knew the truth, disbelief threatened to overpower her. Throughout Samantha's years of caring for stray cats, nothing had prepared her for this. Despite her astonishment, she understood she couldn't ignore this bizarre situation. But Samantha had never imagined that her love of cats would lead her to this wild adventure. Living in Seoul, South Korea, she had been around cats her whole life, and she took to them since she was really young. 5 years ago, she moved to an area of the city with many apartment buildings close to each other. The large number of back alleys and terraces makes it a perfect spot for stray cats to congregate. Samantha became acquainted with them pretty quickly. Samantha started feeding the stray cats soon after she moved in. The other neighbors didn't mind because it meant the cats would stay away from their windows and not poke around in their trash. It didn't take long before all the cats in the neighborhood knew her, and she knew them. But cats are furtive, and she didn't know all their secrets. There was one cat who was especially intriguing, and it soon caught Samantha's attention. Samantha started to take notice of one particular cat, a female tabby, who started acting differently from all the other cats. When Samantha approached with bowls of food, she would come near and sniff around but didn't take any. Samantha thought she might have just eaten, but she did the same thing the next day. Then Samantha realized she'd seen that cat before. It wasn't strange for stray cats to disappear for a while and come back. What was strange was this cat's behavior. Samantha remembered that the tabby, whom she had named Dong-suk, had given birth not long before in one of the building's basements. A neighbor informed her that she had 5 kittens, but that none of them made it. Samantha felt sad thinking about that, and assumed maybe the cat was still grieving for her kittens. Could it be that Dong-suk was so heartbroken that she didn't even feel like eating anymore? Samantha decided to try and cheer up the tabby. She bought wet cat food, something she only brought out on special occasions. There was no way that Dong-suk would refuse such a tasty treat. She opened the can and placed it on the ground in front of her. The cat stared at the food, looked up at Samantha, and meowed. But she didn't touch the can. Then she did something unexpected. As she stood there watching Dong-suk, Samantha held a bag of dry cat food that she would later give to the other strays. She knelt down to pet the tabby, still bewildered at her refusal to eat. The cat then reached out with her paw, trying to knock the bag out of Samantha's hand. Samantha let the bag drop to the floor. Dong-suk grabbed it with her teeth and darted away, leaving Samantha scratching her head in confusion. Samantha was still in disbelief at Dong-suk's behavior. In her 5 years feeding strays, she'd never seen one act like that. The next day, she came out armed with another bag of food, wanting to see if Dong-suk would try to take it from her again. Just as the day before, the cat took the bag and ran. Samantha still had no idea why, but she was determined to find out. Samantha had decided to follow Dong-suk to see where she took the food. She came outside, as usual, with a plastic bag of cat food. She waited for the tabby to appear and placed the bag on the ground. As soon as the cat took it, Samantha followed, camera in hand. As Dong-suk led her through narrow alleys, she realized it would not be easy to keep up with her. Samantha almost lost track of the cat when she jumped up on a ledge onto a terrace. But Samantha climbed the stairs and found Dong-suk, who had now stopped climbing and was instead pacing around the terrace with the plastic bag still in her mouth. It was almost as if she was waiting for something. Then Samantha saw it, a kitten. Climbing up the ledge was a small tabby kitten. It walked up to Dong-suk, who promptly dropped the bag of food at its feet. The kitten proceeded to rip the bag open with its teeth, with such ease that Samantha figured it had done it before. It then ate the food inside, as Dong-suk watched closely. Samantha realized what this meant. Clearly, not all of Dong-suk's litter had perished. This one kitten survived, and its mother was doing everything she could to keep it alive. Samantha was brought to tears by this realization and decided she had to do something to help. While Dong-suk was clever and resourceful, Samantha wanted to ensure her efforts would not be in vain, so she contacted a local animal rescue group. She wanted to give the tabby and her kitten a better life. Staff from the animal group saw Samantha's video and were left in awe of Dong-suk's actions. After suffering, she was attached to the kitten, said one of them. They sent rescuers to Samantha's neighborhood to find and catch the cats. It was not an easy task since they were not familiar with Dong-suk. As a lifelong stray, the tabby would not give in without a fight. The rescuers trapped the kitten first since it was smaller and more docile. They picked it up with extreme care to show Dong-suk they meant no harm. When the time came to catch the mother, she was wary but eventually let them take her. She understood it was the only path to reunite with her kitten. Samantha felt a mix of sadness as she watched them leave, yet also joy knowing what they would gain. The rescue group secured a home for Dong-suk and her kitten, providing a brand new house for their comfort. The kitten, thrilled with its new warm blankets, playfully bounded around its mother. Though Dong-suk remained stoic, during feeding time, she finally accepted a bowl of food. It seemed as though she knew her days of worrying about food for her little one were over.